In this video, I'm going to show you how searching for property in Mexico can be a scam. And this is a part of a series of videos that I have created for you to be successful. If you are just stumbling upon this video, I encourage you to go back and check out the other videos that I made in this series, as well as my online course that's for free. It is information that you will not find anywhere else out there. And I'm going to go into depth of basically how to avoid a scam, how to avoid unlicensed agents, and how to just really be smart when it comes to investing in a foreign country, because I've done it. I've helped many, many other people do it. And I also want to explain to you who I am and why I'm looking to work with you, what's in it for me, because there's a lot of money to be made between all of us, and how I operate and whatnot. So the first thing we have to understand is that there is absolutely no MLS in Mexico. If someone's watching this video and wants to help me create it, that would be awesome, because that is a huge opportunity outside of investing in property. But I've been doing this for four years now. I've been living in Mexico for 5. I told you my story, I think, in the beginning of this series, how I ended up in this position. And so I want to make it very, very clear that there is no MLS system here in Mexico. The other thing is that there's a lot of real estate agents, including myself, who are not licensed. And that is super important to understand, because if you watch these series of videos and you've watched my course, or you go and you check out my course in the description below, you will understand that there is a huge passion that I have. I don't know where it came from, because I come from a different background of cervical cancer, but I like sales. I like meeting people. I like helping other people make money, as well as myself making money, just like any other investor, right? And so what has happened in the past, and Mexico is actually finally starting to crack down on this, is, and when I mean crack down, I mean like filing hefty fines against people who are selling real estate that are not licensed. And I'm going to get into that, but there is no MLS system. There was an influx of people from all over the world, myself included, before COVID. And, people were interested in buying property. And this area has a lot of property for sale, because it is growing. If you watch my previous videos, this area is only about 16% developed. And so there is a huge boom of property going up. And with that comes a lot of different scams, right? And so I'm going to separate myself. Although I am unlicensed, I work with licensed brokers. My partner is licensed, so I get to use his license underneath his company. So nothing can be sold without his approval. And so what I want to do is kind of separate myself, because there's a big passion that I have. I've spent years literally doing this and developing this. And I have learned the ins and outs by being the right-hand man to developers, working with different investors and purchasing their property. I'm also an investor myself. But the thing is that most real estate agents in the industry, not just in Mexico, everyone is focused on their commissions. And so they kind of lose the focus of what is really at stake here and what is happening. It's you as the investor who is literally coming to myself or any other real estate agent to find the best property. And so when there's incentives on the back end, usually or typically a real estate agent will push a certain project because they know that they're going to make more money, or there's an incentive there for them to sell it. Now, if, like I said, I want to separate myself from there, because in the beginning I mentioned that, what's in it for me? I really enjoy networking with people. I enjoy meeting new people, and I know that relationships are important. Relationships are important to myself. So if I can set you up for success, you actually make my job much easier. And what I mean by that is you most likely have friends or family who are also interested. And I also would like to, or my girlfriend would like to, manage your property. So if we manage your property, there's also another amount of money that's involved there. And so I have really engulfed myself deeply in the real estate industry here for making you successful, to have you bring more clients to us, as well as manage your property. If you watch my other videos, I built out this concierge service. Although I'm not licensed, I work under a licensed brokerage, and I could go and get my license, but really my job is to do the marketing. So when you come to me, I actually pass you along to my partner. We do our Zoom calls, and we go through and we actually ask you questions. We become more along the lines of a financial advisor to figure out your goals, your desires of this investment, what you want it to turn into. And if we do have one of our projects, of course, we're going to mention it to you. But it's mainly a two-way street. So you give us feedback, we give you feedback, and we create a symbiotic relationship when it comes to, purchasing your property based on your goals. Other agents in the past, I've heard from many other people who have come through on my YouTube channel, through my Instagram, from my book, from my course, they have complained and said, well, the other guy that I was working with, he was just sending me, 100 Google Drives, and he wasn't really listening, and I just I got turned off by it. Well, I could do the exact same thing, and I could send you 100 Google Drives that I have in group chats and say, hey, pick one, and call you every 3 days and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Do you want to move forward? This is going to go really quick. People are putting in offers and blah, blah, blah. I don't do that. My partner and I, we don't push anything onto anybody. And what typically happens is we become very good friends with our investors, because we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to go into different countries. And so that's kind of the difference between a real estate agent and an advisor. I would like to position myself, as well as think as myself, as more of an advisor, because when I get on a phone call with you, I literally ask you deep questions about your financials, to understand what your goal is. I kind of pull it out of you. Sometimes what happens is the investor didn't even think about that, but since I've been doing this a long time, putting you in a one-bedroom apartment, or having you look at a one-bedroom apartment when your main goal is to get an ROI, it might make sense just to buy a piece of land, sit on it, because you didn't need cash flow and you didn't have to do anything, and you would make more money with less headache. And so those types of things, most of the time, a real estate agent doesn't see it, because they're offering an extra $3,000 bonus if they sell this property in the next 6 weeks. So that's just to lay it out there. My goal is really to build relationships. As for the MLS system, there is no MLS system. I just did a quick search here, and what happens is a lot of people come to us and say, oh yeah, I saw online that this property was for sale. I just typed in property in Playa del Carmen, and the second website that pops up is called Point 2 Homes. Point 2 Homes, I have yet to find anyone that has had a great, wonderful, amazing experience from this. Point 2 Homes seems as if it's somewhat of a scam. If you click on this, I'm just clicking on a random one. You could try to call this number. You have to sign up. It's a Century 21 agent. This is their way of getting leads. And what they do is they have a high turnover within these companies as real estate agents. And this property is no longer available, but we have another one that's similar, and they just start sending out leads, and it becomes a numbers game. It's not a personalized one-on-one touch. It's not a two-way street with the agent and the client. And so I have had many clients come to us and say, yeah, I saw this property here. This lady was impossible to get a hold of, or she can only work with certain amount of properties. She can't show us other ones. We've built a relationship and I feel bad going against her, or whatever the case is. These websites, they're also not up to date. I think that they take amazing photos, but like I said, I have yet to find someone that has been successful with it. And so working with, I'm not saying that other real estate agents are bad. I'm talking more along the lines of like the MLS and trying to find these. Everyone operates inside WhatsApp, and they have these Google Drives, and it's kind of somewhat protected because, if someone gets the link, they have phone numbers in there, they can contact them, they can kind of circumnavigate around, and then they miss out on their commissions. And so, this is a way to generate leads. We had a client a couple weeks ago who was interested in a property that he saw here. And what happened is that the land was ejido land. Again, that's something that's in my course. But basically, that is land that if you purchase it, you never really own it. To give you kind of this quick rundown is, someone inherited the land, the owner of the land either passed away, there's nothing on file, and that person needs to sign off on it, but people get a hold of it because no one's claimed it, and they're trying to sell things that are not even able to be sold, but they'll sweet talk you. And so this is why the government has come in this year in January and has really started cracking down on it. There are over 6,000 real estate agents in this area, and there's only about 600 licensed real estate agents. There is a website in Mexico's governmental platform you can go to, and you can type in people's names to see if they are licensed. Just recently, yesterday, my partner mentioned that they are fining up to $50,000 finding developers who have not registered with the state, finding agents who have not that are not licensed, and they will never get paid their commissions. The reason being is because previously people have, done pre-construction sales, and there's been nightmares, there's been horror stories of people getting ripped off on, well, he told me, he had the money and they pre-sold and they built like the shell and then he left, no longer around. Well, that's because there wasn't previously anything regulated. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just explaining to you how you need to be on your tippy toes when it comes to working with the right people. And even though I'm not licensed, like I mentioned, everything goes through my partner and his brokerage company. My job is really to sit here, explain my experience. This is my lead generation type of stuff. I build relationships through my videos, and that's really what this is about. You got to be careful. Ask as many questions as you can. This is why I have created this series. This is why I have written a book. This is why I have created my online course. This is why I have created my concierge company. This is why I've created the life that I've created to do this. I don't know. I found this crazy passion when I left the United States, and I love it. I sit here in my office and make these videos to meet new like-minded people who are interested in investing down here like myself. The other part of it is I would be surprised as to how many real estate agents have actually invested themselves. And so I encourage you to check out my online course, my book, the case studies, everything I have for you to get the right information. Go through it with a grain of salt and make your educated, data-driven decisions based on what I show you. Because I guarantee you, I know for a fact that there is not one other real estate agent out there that is doing the type of things that I do. And so, everything is a learning process, but I am excited to hear from you, work with you, and I hope that this information has been nothing but helpful for you. Please be aware that, these different types of listings, they may or they may not exist. I plan on trying to put together some sort of database. It's very, very difficult. This one probably is real just because this is a private brokerage account website. It looks like this guy Rob has properties that he probably updates, but just be wary as to how people are getting your contact information. Not to say that it's a bad thing. Go out, do your due diligence. The biggest thing is come down here, fly down here. The other thing is when you're buying a property, you're more than welcome to ask the developer to see their bank accounts. That's one thing that I think a lot of people don't encourage or talk about, but you are more, if I'm a developer and I have a project and I'm telling you that I have all the funds to build it and I'm not relying on your money specifically, if I'm saying what I'm saying is true, then I should have nothing to hide and be able to share it with you. So I encourage you to check out my course, check out my book. This is probably going to be the last of these video series, and I look forward to working with you. I'll leave my links there in the description below if you would like to get in contact with me, and we'll go from there. I'll talk to you soon, and have a great journey investing.